a Wi-Fi password from 2008. If only he'd stopped forgetting his keys. And Joel, our comedic genius, believes he's mastered the art of the dad joke, except he's not a dad. Oh, it's good to have you both on there. Welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year as well to you.
Happy New Year.
You look so dishevelled.
I literally sat on the seat.
Oh, you look sick. Have you seen him? He looks dishevelled.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I hate multitasking.
Okay, so tonight we are starting the year off strong. Our first topic is New Year, New You. Digital detox tips for adults. We'll explore ways to take back control of your time from the relentless pull of tech. Then we're diving into our cool tech and funny stories segment with gadget reviews and, of course, hilarious tech fails. But there's one more addition, which you'll find out in the second half of the show, and it should be a lot of fun. So we'd love to hear from you. You can call us on 01733 602 133. You can text the show on 07411 191 062 or comment on the live stream, Facebook, YouTube, X or Twitch. We really would love to hear from you tonight about your digital detox tips. You know, maybe it's a New Year's resolution. I'd love to hear that from you. Do let us know. So let's talk about digital detoxing. Did you know that the average adult spends more than 7 hours a day staring at screens? Yikes. But don't worry, we've got some practical solutions. First, there's the Forest app, a gamified way to stay focused. You plant a virtual tree and it grows as long as you avoid picking up your phone. Now the catch, if you cave, the tree dies. Nobody wants to be the reason for deforestation, right?
It's positive reinforcement as well.
It is, isn't it? Right?
Yep.
Absolutely. And I remember when I was researching for this, and I was asking myself a question. Could I do this digital detox? And I immediately realized, no, I couldn't. And my friend, before I hand over to both of you, my friend has actually bought me as a present a mobile phone jail. It's a physical jail where you put your phone inside. It's got all the bars you can see through as well. And you lock your device and you put it away. And it is still in its box. And it's something that I often look at and think, maybe I should use this. But Fessel will tell you, I've got how many devices? They're all not going to fit, are they?
No. I think you've got too many devices.
I do have too many devices. This is very true. I can't help it, you know.
And also, when you're the prisoner and the jailer, you got the keys, haven't you, as well? So you got to have the willpower and the motivation to keep it in jail.
You do.
I think it's got to be once it's in jail, it doesn't come out then for the next.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you. Right, let's talk about this digital detoxing then. So, Fessel, I mean, was this part of your New Year's resolution?
I kind of figured it out, I think probably 6, 7, well, maybe a year ago. I think probably last year's. One of the things I started doing was just organizing my social media schedule. So I don't go on Facebook constantly scrolling through my feed. I just have specific times of the day when I'm posting things. And majority of the times that I'm using social media is posting rather than scrolling through. If I'm going to scroll through, it will be not just Facebook and Instagram. I don't even use Instagram anymore for scrolling. So yeah, mainly I'm using social media for posting. And WhatsApp, I don't have notifications turned on anymore. If someone wants to contact me, they can ring me. Otherwise, constant notifications were an issue for me previously. You know, if I was getting any kind of notification in a group. So certain groups that I'm in, I've got them on mute and I'll check them once a day. So for me, I didn't really go down the route of using apps. The other issue I had was when I set up screen time, I'd be undoing it or whatever, or bypassing it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, that's what makes our phones so addictive is those constant prompts, those dings, the attention that it draws. You know, I want attention the whole time.
Yeah.
And if you're on social media platforms and posting, and you're getting positive engagement, you're getting likes, positive comments, you know, oh, you look great, you know, you're doing really well, and things like that.
Yeah.
You get that release of endorphins in your brain as well.
Exactly.
And you think, this is good, I want to do this more.
Yeah.
But then there's also the horrible side of it, where you put a post on and, you know, there's a negative side where it doesn't get as many likes as you thought it would do. You perhaps get some more hurtful comments and things like that. So that's a really ugly side of kind of like the social media side of things as well. And I think that the example you've just used there is brilliant, because you're actually sort of curating your own feed when it comes to it, and you're thinking about social media as a tool for a specific purpose rather than social media being used as entertainment. So that's one of my problems, is I use social media for entertainment, and I feel that I've had attempts in the past and failed and slipped back into my own ways, but now, start of 2025, I'm thinking different, trying to think differently about social media and thinking of it as a tool for researching this show, for example, for researching other things that I've got interest in, like cybersecurity and things like that. So I'm thinking of it more now as a tool instead of a way of entertainment.
Yeah, and just to add to that, what you said, I think there's a lot of people that I know personally who use social media as their go-to entertainment. They won't watch Netflix, they won't watch YouTube. I suppose you could say YouTube's a social media to an extent, but nevertheless, they won't use YouTube. They are fixated with TikTok, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah.
So when you say something like that to them, they will say to you, actually, look, I'm learning from this. Right?
Yeah. It's one of those things. I remember the days when we had cable TV, live TV. I don't really watch live TV much anymore, but we'd flick through channels. You'd have 40, 50 channels in those days, which was a lot. But you'd end up flicking through the whole lot, and then you'd go back around and flick them again, and constantly you're watching the same old stuff. But 2-3 hours would fly by. And I think for me personally, it's been about managing my time in the evening rather than sitting on the phone on the screen. I'll make sure now that an hour before I go to sleep, I'm not on any kind of device. Otherwise, I'm finding I'm struggling going to sleep.
I think one of my
that makes sense.
One of my bad habits is doing exactly that. But one of my bad habits is using two sources of entertainment. So I'm actively watching a TV series on Netflix or a film, and scrolling and TikTok and YouTube and shorting at the same time. Yeah. I'm using two bits of entertainment. So the one thing that I'm really conscious about, and what I want to change at the start of this year, is this is my primary source of entertainment.
Yeah.
And that can be anything from watching a film to playing a computer game to even having dinner. Or eating or talking out, being out with friends. I'm trying to think now more of what's my primary source of entertainment, where should my focus be?
That's a great way to look at it, because it highlights the fact that we do that, don't we? We're sat at a table in a restaurant and we're about to eat something that we've been looking forward to eating. Mm-hmm. We're too busy staring at a phone, and your friend is talking to you, and you're nodding. You are 50% listening. In my case, I'm 99% listening because I'm super powerful. Anyway, and you're listening to them, and then they say to you, "Are you listening?" And you're like, "Yeah." So what did I say? You're like, are you with me? So I like that. I like this primary source of entertainment, Joel. This is good.
But you also couldn't tell them what you were looking at on your phone.
Yes.
And that's where the problem comes.
Yes.
So your example of flicking through cable TV channels, hundreds and hundreds of them. I couldn't tell you at the end of the night or the end of the day what I'd looked at that day.
No.
It's just there and gone, there and gone, there and gone. And it's just, I just think it's just time I changed my bad habits. And
well, then may I suggest to you the return of the dumb phone?
Yes.
Devices like the classic Nokia 3310. Oh my God! What? Can I tell you something? That phone was epic.
What a phone!
Are making a comeback. Imagine using a phone that only calls and texts. Sounds wild in 2025, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, I have got something similar. I started using a Samsung. I think it was about 3-4 years ago. But it doesn't work because you still need access to your emails. And then
this is true.
I had two devices and I thought, what's the point of this? So, I mean, I can see the benefit if you're totally getting away from emails and you don't need that access. But it's just convenient, isn't it? Rather than waiting to come back to your desk and there's 20 emails, when you're doing other things, you can think, you know what, I'll reply to that thing.
That makes sense. Like you said, it's all based on your personal circumstances. I've gone through that journey myself where I've gone, managing multiple inboxes all on one device. I'm like, this device is not giving me a chance to breathe. So what I've done is I've split my responsibilities across multiple devices, as Fessel will tell you. But that's allowed me to finish things in a different way, to respond to things in a different way. I'm like, okay, this particular entity is going to get this many hours of delay. This is going to get this many. And so whatever needs to be done in that time period, that gets completed. Once everything's completed, I will go back and check to see if there's anything that's left. If there isn't, I'll do it. Because what was happening was when you're managing 10, 11 different email accounts for different clients, customers, organizations, whatever it may be, you do not rest. Your last thought at night was that last email that's coming, because there's a colleague in America it's midday for them.
This is why you should never use your personal device for work either.
Correct. I fundamentally believe that.
Bring your own device is like one of the worst policies I think that any business has ever thought of.
What do you think of that?
I don't like it.
I mean, for me, it's if I mean, I've got one device for personal and business, but I wouldn't.
But you're a trillionaire.
No. Why'd you drop that? Everyone's gonna know now.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, for me, it was, the stress and the anxiety that it was causing. If I felt like I had to reply to that thing then and there, and I've got this philosophy now that if something is urgent, that person can ring me. If they're going to send me an email or a text, I'm going to leave it in the time it needs to be replied to. So if I've got my allocated time for a specific business or a client or whatever I'm doing, I will be only dealing with that thing in that hour. I'm not going to deal with the email that's coming for this other things. And that's the only way I'd work. And in between that, then I'll use that, 10 minutes or whatever, if I'm going to scroll through my notifications on WhatsApp or whatever it is. But I'm not going to, like if you look at my WhatsApp, the notifications are turned off. Sometimes I've even said to you, if you need me, just ring me. And if I answer, I'm available. If I'm not available, I'll call you back.
This is true. I sent him a text in 1981. He actually replied to me in 2002.
Some of the more sort of switched on CEOs as well. I've seen this on a few sort of feeds and things like that. Some of the more switched on company CEOs have now in their signature, I'm sending you this email at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning because that is a time that suits me. I do not expect you to reply instantly. You don't have to be standing by your phone 24/7 for your company necessarily. And things
I've seen examples of that
again,
as well.
I think there's definitely more companies now that are not expecting us to be standing by our phones 24/7 and things like that. So
Let us know what you think. Comment on the live stream, Facebook, YouTube, X, or Twitch. Are you having a digital detox? And if you are, can you share your tips with us? We'd love to hear from you. Let's not forget about blue light glasses and night mode settings. Simple tools that help reduce digital fatigue. What's your take? Have you tried any of these?
I've had it turned on since it became available. I don't know scientifically how good it is, but I've always had it turned on.
I'll be honest with you. I personally find it extremely useful. Mm-hmm. So when it gets to the evening, I'll have a light bar switched on above my monitor. I can change the settings from ice white to a more warm amber. I then change the settings on the Mac to the night light. And then all of a sudden I have this, and I've noticed it physically that it has a net benefit. I can carry on working for longer when it's in that mode, in that setting. Now also, I have to say, I have utilized dark mode on almost everything since it first came out. I will default everything goes dark mode.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I find it's because, and then and you know what's interesting, John? I don't know if you experience this as well, or you, Fessel. If you get accustomed to using dark mode all the time, as soon as you're in light mode, you're like, whoa, this is bright.
Yeah.
Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
I remember when the first switch happened, and I was like, either my eyes have become more sensitive, or it's just too bright. Has it always been? I start asking, has it always been this bright? Even on all my settings on my devices, nothing is on max. Yeah. And say for example, a family member or a friend, they might ask me to take a picture, and they'll pass me the device. I will almost instantly, without fail, say, "Whoa, your phone's really bright." And it could be like late in the evening, or we ask me, like, "How do you look at your screen like this?" And I'm like, "Am I the one who's fatigued here, or is this such a cool thing that took place in the tech world in terms of the dark mode that I'm like, why is not everybody using this?"
Yeah, you're right. And also on some people don't realise, but built into your devices, so on my Samsung device, it's got a digital wellness application already built into it.
Yeah.
There's loads that you can download from your own app store and stuff like that. But lots of people don't realise that the phones and digital technologies devices that we have now have that already built in, and it's working along in the background, telling how much screen time you've had, which apps you've used, and stuff like that. But what it can also do is you can take you to the next stage of that, and you can set timers. So if you only want to use Facebook for 5 minutes a day, you set the timer, you get the notification, and then you can either stop at that point with it locked out. But it's also got focus mode, and in focus mode, you can set different behaviours on your device depending on where you are. So cinema mode, driving mode, work mode, nighttime mode, kebab mode, dining with a friend mode, that kind of stuff. And your device can actually then start to behave differently, give you notifications differently and stuff like that. What I find with mine is the one thing that I will do is I'll go into the notification settings, and I pretty much have notifications for everything turned off, apart from like WhatsApp, SMS, and calls. Basically, there's like no other app to send me like notifications as well. So I think it's a very good idea to if you're not going to move away from these kind of devices, to just spend a few minutes and just look at what comes with them, and just help you to sort of just build a healthier relationship with it by
I agree with you.
it.
I think that's the key element, isn't it, Fessel?
That's right,
what
yeah.
Joe just said there, which is about building a more healthier relationship with that device that's either in your pocket or at home or on your desk or whatever. Because we've got ourselves quite quickly to a stage where we're addicted to these things.
Yeah.
And that could be for any reason. It could be for a personal reason. It could be for a business reason. It could be for whatever it is. You may be a creator, whatever it may be. You are using some form of mobile device all the time.
Yeah, and one of the things, just going on from the point Joel mentioned, is that I find the work mode, I was just looking through my own settings, the work mode quite useful. So that only kicks in at certain times of the day, certain days of the week. Then also I've got reduced interruptions mode. With that one, only select people. If they ring me or text me, I'll get their notifications. Otherwise,
Am I on that list?
You are on that list. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if he's being honest now. I think we need some sort of this is where I'm missing Shamshad, some sort of AI body scanner that he uses on him.
Lie
and then all of a
detector.
sudden the truth just comes out and it just says lie. That would be really funny, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe, again, another great idea that I've just shared on air.
Oh, somebody should be listening to these.
Yeah, I'm telling you that somebody should be definitely listening to this. Do let us know, actually. Would you invest in this idea? I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so other than the dumb phone, what else is out there that people could use potentially for this digital detox?
So your jail idea actually is quite good. If I looked into that before coming in here tonight, and listed on Amazon and many different jails. Some of them look actually like jails with little bars and
that's
stuff.
right. Yeah,
some of them look more like sort of tiny key safes. They might have timed locks and all that kind of stuff on it. But the one thing that I did see, which I hadn't seen before, is it's kind of like a sleeve that goes over your phone. And it still gives you the option to answer a call, because what lots of people say and what lots of people fear about putting their phone in jail is, what if they get an emergency call? Then I can't get to my phone. Yeah, so there's on Amazon they had now sleeves where you can still see who's calling and you can still answer that emergency call, but it covers the rest of your screen, so you can't interact with your applications, you can't watch it and stuff like that. So you can still have it in jail, but you can still have it accessible for emergencies, which I thought was a pretty cool idea, actually.
Mm-hmm. And how much of the phone was covered? Was it like?
It was literally just, the bit where you answer the phone and the bit at the top of the screen where you see the name come up when they call. It was literally that bit there and that bit there. The rest of it was covered. So the middle of the touch screen was covered.
So like a mobile phone balaclava?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's a great way to describe it. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, right.
But you're right. So
what did you Google to get to that?
phone jail.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm just checking. I don't know.
But you're right. I mean, thinking about the dumb devices, that's one option that I wouldn't consider, because I have lots of cool little apps on my phone that I use occasionally, but I use them daily. So it's things like Flight Radar 24, to see what planes flying over there. I've got a star map one. There's all sorts of other little bits and pieces that I use on there on a day to day, but I'm not necessarily addicted to and scrolling while watching a movie.
Your plane spot hobby then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the one thing that I'm also kind of not prepared to do is I have that, like when smokers quit, they still have that habit with their fingers. They still want something to do with their hand as well. So when it's, if you're in a waiting room or if you're somewhere and you normally just sort of have a little scroll, have a little look at social media. So the one thing I'm trying a new application called Imprint.
Okay.
There's other applications out there as well. So Blinkist is another one. And what these do is they kind of tap into that habit of holding your device and scrolling, but they're presenting to you different information. So what they do is they take best-selling books, usually self-help books and then things like that, and they distill those books into tiny paragraphs, basically. And it takes you 20-30 seconds to read the paragraph, exactly the same kind of time as it takes you to read your read the tweets on your X feed and stuff like that. But you're actually digesting other information, not just mindless information from other people. You're learning a new skill.
So effectively microlearning.
It's like that's exactly it is. Yeah,
Okay.
microlearning. Yeah. But you can buy the full books. But on this particular one, so you still got that kind of like that doom scrolling, that fiddle with your hand thing. But instead of just like scrolling 1,000 cat memes or whatever, you're actually looking at something that's going to better yourself in other ways as well. So I'm giving that a go, and I've got a 7-day trial on one of those applications at the moment, a bit like flashcards. And
Okay, well, I want an
it's
update
working
to
really
this
well.
when we're back on air next week.
Yeah, we'll see if I'm still doing it. Yeah.
Not just that, but how it's gone.
Yeah.
Like some metrics would be useful, Joel.
Yeah. Well, yesterday I essentially read a book on conflict resolution, and then today, ironically, I'm reading a book on building new habits, the best way to build new habits. So it kind of goes hand in hand, really.
Okay. You may find the person on your right may feature in this. I just want to point that out. What about yourself, Fessel? In terms of like a digital detox, what have you seen out there?
I've not used it, but there's an app, Screen Zen. It's actually designed for helping curb social media addiction.
Okay.
And the way it works is it actually changes the way the app opens. So when you click on a social media app, it delays the amount of time it takes. It minimizes the amount of scrolling you can do. So it basically reduces the functionality of the app, so it's not as addictive, or it's trying to.
And is this a way of
discourage you.
like encouraging you to think about what you're doing?
Yeah, otherwise what happens I don't use TikTok personally to scroll through, but I remember when I had it on my phone, I remember having Instagram, it was just constant scrolling, just scrolling through one thing after another. And I think it could possibly help if someone's got an addiction with that.
I can see how that would help, because the faster everything gets, the more impatient I get. So if something takes longer to load, I've usually lost interest. I'm just like,
And I think that's it. It's interesting you should say that, because
put the phone back down.
Yeah. Okay. There's another element to what you just said. Okay. One is what you just said. You lose interest. The other one is you see the difference between a pro device and a budget device. So when you have a budget device and you go to launch an app, it actually takes longer for it to. First of all, it takes longer to switch on. It then takes longer for an app to load, and then to be able to do something in that app. You can see the delay in real time. Like, this is taking. I'm just trying to scroll up. It's taking. You think because you're used to using a pro device that there's some sort of lag initially, without realizing. Hold on a minute. There's a difference here between processors. When you're using an S version phones for Samsung, or the Pro versions for Apple, they're zippy, they're instant, they're like your high-end PCs. Click, boom, it's done. But then you go into that budget range, it is a massive difference. I'm telling you, I've been testing devices all throughout 2024. Different devices, especially in Android. I've been watching, playing about different devices from different manufacturers. And one thing that has been so obvious, aside from the cameras and so on, has just been the computing power. So I suppose if you have a really budget device, that's going to slow you down. Anyway.
But that's going to slow everything
Yeah,
down.
that's right. You don't feel like using that device.
No.
But I do understand the app that you just described, that is clever.
Yeah, so what it will do, the way it's described is it will, once you scroll so much, it'll start interrupting those sessions as well. It will, you set some sort of limiter on it, and then it will just say, sorry, can't continue.
Do you know, I have a limit on social media on my phone. It's 1 hour in every 24 hours. That's it. And what it does, it kills everything. LinkedIn, Instagram, you name it, it's all gone. And then I question myself, because obviously we can cheat and just say, give me more time. Do I need it? That's what I do. And I win more often than I lose, by the way. So we're heading to a break now. So coming up after the break, we're diving into the cool tech and funny stories of the week, as well as a new segment. And if you've ever wondered if smart toasters are really worth the hype, you'll find out after this short ad break. And by the way, Sham, we are missing you.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
2020 World Buffet is inspired by the best foods from around the world. See our teppanyaki chefs grill your food to order, or choose delicious Indian, Italian, Chinese, Mexican dishes and British favourites, all halal. 2020 World Buffet offers you unlimited food at a set price. Open 7 days for lunch and dinner. Catering, wedding and party services available too. Call 01733 566 320 or visit 2020buffet.co.uk. 2020 World Buffet, 35 New Road, Peterborough, PE1 1FJ.
At Masters Pharmacy, we put your health and convenience first. We offer free blood pressure checks and blister-packed medication. With our free same-day prescription delivery service, you can have your medication when you need it. We also offer travel vaccinations, including Hajj and Umrah, along with other services to meet all your pharmacy needs. For more information, contact Masters Pharmacy on 01733 567 208 or visit us at 303 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PH.
Craving authentic Desi flavors? Look no further than Desi Restaurant. From midday until 1 in the morning, enjoy our homemade specialties that will transport your taste buds. Indulge in tantalizing papri chaat and savor the rich Chersi Kadahi. Treat your friends to our fresh 1 kilogram Chersi lamb handi. Plus, get 2 12-inch pizzas for $11.95. Located at 298 Lincoln Road, we deliver from lunchtime until 1 a.m. Call 01733 555 795 now to order and experience Desi Restaurant's flavors.
Craving top quality fried and grilled chicken without the high price tag? At Sam's, we make every bite unforgettable. From juicy chicken to mouth-watering burgers, taste why we're the best in town. Visit us at our brand new restaurant at 33 Westgate in the city centre or our second spot on Lincoln Road. Prefer delivery? We're on Just Eat, Uber Eats and Deliveroo. Sam's, serving up amazing chicken across the UK for over 30 years.
Need a taxi that won't break the bank? Amar Cabs offers safe local rides at affordable prices, starting at £3.99. Get to Heathrow for £120 and London Stansted or London Luton for just £88. Private school and executive business class drop-offs are also available. Booking is easy. Go to www.amarcabs.com and download our app on Android or iOS or call 01733 555 888. Wherever you're headed, Amar Cabs is just a tap away with reliable, affordable rides starting at just £3.99.
Satisfy your cravings at Ibrahimi Buffet Restaurant. Enjoy a tantalising variety of Chinese, Italian, Pakistani and comfort food favourites, from starters to desserts. Kids under 5 dine for free, so bring the whole family to our restaurant at 63 Sycamore Avenue. Open every day from 5 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Call us on 01733 313131 or book online to reserve your table. Ibrahimi-restaurant.co.uk. Every bite is a delight at Ibrahimi Buffet Restaurant.
This is Salaam Radio, Peterborough's Muslim community radio. Broadcasting on 106.2 FM and online.
Welcome back to the Tech Factor. If you're just tuning in, you missed some great tips on digital detoxing, but fear not, everything we share can be found on our social media. So follow us and stay connected responsibly, of course. And of course, we'd love to hear from you as well. You can comment on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, X, or Twitch. Now, cool tech funny stories of the week. I'll be looking forward to this. Before we get into it, Joel, did you get anything cool for Christmas?
In terms of tech, no. Oh, yes, actually. Well, it's a power tool, but it's kind of techie.
Okay, come on, just hit me with it.
It's kind of really...
Not literally.
Really nerdy as well. But so, I have a paved driveway and patio all around the back of my house and everywhere.
Fancy.
And the moss grows between the slabs and stuff.
Right.
Pressure washer.
I've got instead of doing it with a wire brush, I've got an electric one that spins a little wire brush and zzz and gets rid of all the moss.
Okay, that's quite posh, isn't it?
That's
kind of posh. I'll be honest with you. That on Clarkson's farm, that's posh.
Peak middle age.
Cool. Yeah. Peak middle age. I mean, I would never have guessed that. No. I would never have guessed that you were going to go with that. I would have thought what Fessel just said about you getting a pressure washer, but no.
Well, pressure washing's for getting the green off the actual surface of the blocks. This is for getting the...
I'm loving the granular level, the server level.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, no,
this is why you're here.
It's just a riot at my house.
Oh my God! Wow.
Cleaning patio for days.
I have used a pressure washer to get in there, but it's messy. But that sounds like a good solution.
Okay, it sounds like you need to share a link.
Yeah, I think so.
It's part of the Ryobi
family.
One plus battery thing as well. So I've got leaf blower, lawnmower, drill, carpet washer, and now moss detacher device thingy.
This is pretty spectacular. Okay, so congratulations, my friend. So
you won't ask again.
No, I will, because I have to say that has blown my mind. Seriously, if I ever thought you were a posh farmer, you've just confirmed it on air, which is just fantastic. Okay, let's dive into this week's cool gadgets and funniest tech stories. First up is the Lumen metabolism tracker. It's a pocket-sized device that claims to measure your metabolism through your breath. Sounds like sci-fi, but users swear it helps them optimize their diets.
Wow.
And I remember when I was reading this and I was thinking to myself, has technology moved on that much? And I'm like, yeah.
So how's it tracking?
Through your breath.
Through your breath?
Yeah, it's a pocket-sized device. It tracks your metabolism through your breath. I mean, imagine the R&D that's gone into that.
That was crazy. So, I've used what's the food tracker called? I can't remember what the food tracker's called. Map My Meal or something, whatever it is. But you have to you can either scan the barcode of what you've just eaten, or you put in all the nutrient information for it, and it's a way of sort of tracking your macronutrients and how much fibre you've had and how much you need and all this kind of stuff. But can it do that kind of thing, but from your breath? Do I understand that correctly?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
The funny story, one of the funny stories I saw of the week, and you know how I love my robot vacuum, yeah? Is that there's videos, viral videos of them being shared online, Fessel, of them escaping people's homes.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, so the geofencing, either they didn't get versions that had geofencing on them, or... and I'm going to share this on air. They're sentient. Oh no.
All hail our robo-vac overlords. Please don't come for us.
Probably going for a meeting with the rest of them.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
But yeah, and the other element I was going to ask is the term doom scrolling has become mainstream. I mean, it was during the 2020 pandemic, but it's certainly being used a lot more now.
Yeah, one buzzword I had in my notes, but never actually managed to get out because the first half an hour always goes so quickly. But yeah, doom scrolling, big one. And I think well, not this year now, but last year, the word brain rot, I think, were the Oxford English Dictionary's word of the year. And
absolutely.
Stuff as well.
Yeah, just quickly going back on the Lumen metabolism tracker, Joe, just to say, it essentially uses CO2 to analyze the measure of fat versus carb burning.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, over to you, gentlemen. What have you got for me?
I'll go first. I've got some actually slightly worrying news from the Wall Street Journal. Discusses how AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, is dealing with an increased number of cyber threats. They are claiming that they have reached nearly 1 billion attempts per day of cyber attacks.
That is incredible.
That they are defending against. And it is essentially down to AI-enhanced cybercrime. They're using AI to scale up their attacks, making them more sophisticated and frequent.
So someone like you who is in that industry, this was expected, obviously.
Yeah. Generative AI as well, so like Chad and stuff like that, actually is making it easier for your sort of man on the street to also formulate and perform such attacks as well. So it's kind of, you could say it's opened the floodgates to it. But the good news that comes from it is that Amazon are defending against these by also utilizing, AI as defense tools against the AI tools that are attacking them, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. So, I mean, this was coming, wasn't it, Fessel? This AI war, you versus them, blue versus red. In all industries, you were expecting IPs to be stolen. We're expecting people's digital estates to be stolen. The obvious things to say here is going to be finance, right? But what we're seeing here with what you've just described there, Joel, as well, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, Fessel, as well, is that there will be, nations out there who will be deploying such tactics, won't they?
Yeah, I mean, this was happening middle of last year. You saw it with election times. There was lots of fake news going out there. But yeah, I mean, I think 2025 and beyond, you'll see things that we've not even imagined that are happening.
I'm only going to ask you this once.
Yeah.
Do you guys both think that we are in the age of an AI digital warfare?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already started.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, they're talking, the Chief Information Security Officer from Amazon, CJ Moses, he's talking about a growth within the last 6 or 7 months from 100 million attacks a day to 750 million attacks per day that they're seeing. And, that's a staggering number within
astonishing.
Such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the evolution of AI. And you know what? It's interesting. When you say the word AI, the average man in the street, the access you have to AI is vastly different to the governments and to the developers and to the networks. They are seeing the other side of the coin, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
I think they have to be. Yeah, I think we're as average Joe public guy on the street kind of thing. The technology that we've got access to is nowhere near the kind of technology that is actually out there. And that's always been the case, isn't
Absolutely.
it?
No, I agree with you. Before I go over to Fessel, I've got one more for you. Quantum network underway in New York City. A 21-mile-long quantum network was established beneath New York City, transmitting 500,000 photon pairs per second over 15 days. Oh, wow. The experiment marks a significant step towards quantum communications. It's coming.
Yeah, it's been coming for the last 30 years.
But it just feels close, Fessel.
It is. I mean, the thing is, technology is one thing, and then R&D, research and development, is developing at an exponential rate. So where we saw 10 years worth of development in quantum, a similar amount of developments taking place within a year. I think we discussed it, on the last show or the one before. The breakthroughs that Google have made and other major IT companies, it's phenomenal, and it will be a game changer for everything, including AI.
I totally agree with you. Yeah. Right, your turn though.
My turn. It's news really. It's a warning from ISPs. It's related to people turning their broadband routers off, and this habit has come about related to saving energy. So what people tend to do is, I do this a lot. You switch off, lights that aren't in use, or devices. Normally, rather than putting on standby, you've got smart switches which turn everything off completely. But a lot of people, what they're doing is they're turning their routers off. And this is one of those things where ISPs recommend that you should leave them on 24 hours a day. The two main reasons are, one is updates. They normally do them in the middle of the night. And the other thing is, if you keep turning your router on and off, that sends a message to the ISP to indicate there's some sort of issue. And so a lot of the ISPs, they'll restrict your broadband speed. So
that's interesting.
That's a thing to be careful of.
My router is on 24/7, but what I do sometimes do is I might switch off a particular mesh disk in an area that is no longer required. But say, for example, I have 5 mesh disks, right?
Yeah, but that's Wi-Fi, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying to you, that's the most I'd do. I would never switch off the entire network.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I would restart my router is if something's not working. But otherwise, assume that the internet providers restarted it after an update.
Okay.
But I don't know. You're the expert on networks, so I don't know.
Just taking on new router with new broadband and everything, and the router itself, I kept getting a notification from the security devices that I've got that said, oh, access lost to internet, using 4G backup and this, that, and the other. And I thought, why am I getting that all of a sudden every single day? The router itself was actually programmed to restart every day at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was just like, yeah, no.
You need to stop that real fast.
So I've left this auto update on, but it was just doing a manual reboot, and for this exact reason, yeah. So, I mean, they're quite low current devices. I can't imagine that switching it off for 6 or 7 hours during the night is actually going to make that much difference to your bill overall. No. I mean, I suppose it might do in terms of every kind of tiny little bit helps sort of thing, but yeah, at the expense of having your broadband throttled, I don't think it's worth it.
I think BT and Sky Broadband, they're the ones who raised it. And it was a news article a couple of days ago. So it seems as though people are doing this actively out there. So yeah, if you've got broadband, don't turn it off.
I guess,
Thanks. Joe?
So I'm going to go with one that is to do with OpenAI. OpenAI, initially, they were established as a non-profit organisation dedicating to advancing artificial intelligence for the benefit of humanity. But they have announced plans to go into a for-profit entity. So a strategic shift aims to attract substantial investment necessary to the development of the AI technologies, particularly moving towards AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, which is the next step up to what ChatGPT and etc. is currently modelled on.
I knew this was coming.
Yeah, so they've gone for...
As soon as Microsoft purchased it, I knew this was coming. Bottom line here is technology or not, way of life or not.
Money talks.
Money talks. Hey, spot on. That's exactly where we're at. Okay, I've got something slightly different. Roblox introduces generative AI for 3. Look at what we're saying, AI. So Roblox is launching a generative AI tool that allows developers to create entire 3D scenes using text prompts, streamlining the game development process. That's a game changer.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. My son's played around with their game development tool. That's a really nice little sort of UI that you can use and drag and drop and put things into place and stuff like that. But yeah, the fact that Roblox is sort of built from the ground up by its fan base, and all the different hobbies and games and things and that can be programmed by other people is pretty cool. So having it, integrated with AI and taken to the next level, that'd be what a cool move.
It simplifies everything and speeds up the process.
True. I've got another AI one for you. So Meta AI upgraded with Llama 3.2 engine. Meta has enhanced its AI capabilities by integrating the Llama 3.2 engine into popular apps like Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, enabling features such as speech and image analysis, which is now you'll see it.
I did see it in there, but I've not used it.
Oh, well, now you know.
No, I know.
What you got for me?
I'm going to try it out. I've got another AI one.
Look what's happening.
Irish AI startup Gentech secured 4 million euros for AI integration. And this company specializes in creating a middleware between AI agents and a system which has data. And I was watching a video just before Christmas on... it's actually from Microsoft, Satya Nadella. He was saying that the future, that as he sees it, and I agree with him on this, is that apps will become irrelevant. You will have large amounts of data, whether it's databases or vectors or whatever, however it's stored. But then you'll have AI agents which interact with that. And an AI agent is basically a tool where you send an instruction, like ChatGPT, you send an instruction, it does the work for you and gives you the result. So this company is actually specializing to create that middleware, so it allows developers of AI agents to integrate with data more simply.
That's actually quite
It's
interesting.
pretty cool. I thought it was pretty cool, yeah.
Okay. Joe?
So I've got a very quick one. I've got a very quick space one.
Space?
I like getting space ones in. Yeah, this one's about...
You might be take that tool with you.
This one's about the India space program. Indian Space Research Organisation on the 7th of Jan are planning to perform a space docking. They've got twin spacecraft are currently in orbit, in the desired orbit, and on the 7th of Jan they are looking at doing a specific kind of docking procedure with those spacecraft, and that would make them one of only 4 other countries to do such a space docking. So then India will be there with China, Russia and the US are the only other 3 countries. So well done, Indian space program. Doing really well.
Wow, that's actually
really
quite cool. Okay, I've got the world's largest wind turbine unveiled. Okay, so no AI right now. A colossal 20 megawatt wind turbine with a rotor diameter, oh my God, of up to 292 meters has been introduced. Capable of generating 80 million kilowatts of electricity annually, enough to power housing for 96,000 residents.
That's pretty good. Yeah, very good.
And if you ask it what kind of music,
Very good.
if you ask it what kind of music it likes, it will just say, "It's a huge metal fan."
Brilliant, brilliant. Oh, just love having you two here. Yes, absolutely brilliant. Oh, dad jokes for life. What you got from me? I'm still recovering over what you two have just done in the studio. That's just too funny. I'm crying.
I've got an awesome one. It's switching from AI to quantum. This is something I picked up from the UK government website. I thought let's change it up a little bit. This is a top secret department under the Defence Science and Technology Laboratory, and they've developed a groundbreaking quantum technology, which is the basis of a high-tech quantum clock. So that minimizes the amount of time lost. So, with normal clocks, you've got this error amount and you're losing time over a period of time. So this is very precise, so it will lose less than a second over 1 billion years. And that's, that basically, if you think, what's the point of that? But that increases or reduces the errors in measuring things, and it will improve things like GPS and anything that uses satellite communications and stuff like that. Yeah, so this is development of cutting edge technology, and UK government's, it's part of the UK government's plan for change. Also safeguarding national security.
That's impressive, mate.
Yeah,
well done. Yeah. I've got Waymo's robotaxi safety data releases. So check this out. Waymo's fully driverless vehicles have now logged 22.2 million miles across 4 cities, with data indicating they are safer than human drivers in almost every single category. The company has made its methodologies available for public view. This is coming.
Mm-hmm.
And having data like this and metrics like this is designed not just for themselves to audit and learn and research and grow and so on. It's to reassure governments,
legislation makers,
lawmakers,
yeah,
lawmakers. Absolutely spot on, Joe. And this is what I'm saying to you. This is coming. I think in its initial phase, I think we may see public transport.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a related
related
article actually. So a study in the North Carolina State University proposes adding a 4th colour to the traffic light signals, a colour specifically for autonomous vehicles. So they're instead of just the red, yellow, and green, they're looking at adding they're proposing adding a white light, which could indicate that AV vehicles are coordinating traffic movements through that intersection. So human drivers, upon seeing the white light, would follow the vehicle ahead, allowing the autonomous vehicles to manage the traffic more efficiently.
This is good because it needs something like this.
So they're actually, at the end of the day, humans are stupid.
Yep. This is true.
So they're talking about having a separate light at intersections, so that the human drivers would follow, the autonomous vehicle through, and they reckon that could be significant decreases to delays and things like that at intersections.
It just goes to show you, doesn't it? The futurologists and these companies and so on are thinking beyond what we're currently seeing, which is really, really important. Appreciate that, gentlemen. That's the end of our cool, funny tech stories of the week. I thought we had some crackers there, certainly. Now it's time for a new segment. I've been so excited about this. And I know these two gentlemen are nervous because it's time for your tests. Quantum quiz.
We should get a jingle. Let's get a jingle.
Okay, so we're going to work on that. So, so I'm going to put on it. Yeah, okay. Do the jingle.
Quantum quiz.
Quantum quiz. So we're here. So this is 60 seconds of general tech knowledge. We'll be asking Fessel and Joel, who are in the hot seats, questions, quick fire round questions, and with instant answers. And whoever has the highest tally at the end of the show wins. And we'll also see who has won the trophy for
Quantum quiz.
Quantum quiz at the end of the year. This is going to be so cool.
You definitely need a jingle.
We do need a jingle, but I have to say, can we record what he's just done and that can be the jingle? That is so cool. Okay, right, gentlemen, are you ready? Okay, so I'm going to hit the stop. Just so you know, I'm not cheating, okay? There's a stopwatch. Right. Do you agree?
Wow, this is serious.
I've told you, serious. Serious. Okay, so here we go. What does CPU stand for?
Central Processing Unit.
Which key combination is commonly used to copy text on a computer?
Control-C.
In programming, what does HTML stand for?
Hypertext Markup Language.
What is the name of Microsoft's web browser?
Edge.
Joel. In what year was the first iPhone released?
2006.
2001.
Both wrong. It's 2007. What does USB stand for?
Universal Serial Bus.
Okay, I've got it. What programming language is primarily used to create Android apps? To give up?
Yep.
That's all? I'm running out of time, mate. It's Java. What is the full form of Wi-Fi? What is the full form of the abbreviation Wi-Fi?
It isn't.
Wireless fidelity.
No, it's wrong.
Okay, well, we're gonna I need to Google that here right now. What does RAM stand for?
Random access memory.
What company developed the Java programming language?
Sun Microsystems.
Okay, I've gone over a minute, but I want to because this is quite cool. Because I feel like Fessel is some sort of Android. He's just like, as I'm saying it, it's like you can see my screen. This is funny. Okay, we'll do another minute on this actually. So, which social media platform is known for tweets?
Twitter.
X.
Joel got that. What is the name of the founder of Facebook?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yep. Which search engine is also called the Giant G?
Google.
What video sharing platform did Google acquire in 2006?
YouTube.
Too late, Joel. What does HTTP stand for?
Hypertext Transfer Protocol.
Oh my God, this guy. Which social media app is known for short disappearing stories?
TikTok. Snapchat.
In which year was Google founded?
1998.
What does the @ symbol mean in an email address?
At this address.
It is at. And we'll stop with that one and we'll check the scores for the inaugural Quantum Quiz. Fessel has... Am I going to get a drum roll here? 9. And Joel has... 7.
Not bad, because I
think
man's on fire.
I'll tell you straight. I think what's happened here, right? Days. If I hadn't given you the extra minute, you would have had at least half of that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because I don't know what happened. As I'm saying these questions out loud, he was just
so fast.
So this is going to require a little tweaking from my side, but I enjoyed it. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it's good.
I told you, didn't I? What about you, Joel?
That was quite funny.
Okay, so we're going to brush up on this. We're going to get a jingle.
It wasn't what I expected, to be honest.
Was it not?
No.
Okay, we're going to get a jingle, and what I might do next week, actually, or the next time we're on air, is do it individually. But I have to say, that was impressive. You've clearly got some general technology in your mind.
So your Wi-Fi question, wireless fidelity. So when Wi-Fi was introduced, we were still using hi-fis in homes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So hi-fi is short for high fidelity, as in the sound and stuff. But Wi-Fi is a common misconception that it stands for wireless fidelity because it doesn't. When it was originally produced as a product name, Wi-Fi. That's it. That's all it means.
Are you saying the large language model
not,
that I took this from is lying?
It's not an acronym.
Yeah,
well,
it's
a common misconception. So if your language model,
It's making it up.
no, it's not. But if it's used it from a resource,
No, you're right.
You'll be
From a source,
you'll be able to get it from source, but that's not necessarily correct.
No, I appreciate that, Joel. This is why you're here.
Well, you see.
Yeah, you're still lost, mate.
I knew all the questions, but I couldn't get them out fast enough.
That was really, really cool.
Those buzzer things.
Okay, look how this is evolving so quickly. Buzzers, we need jingles. You know what we might do? It might be not 6 it'll be 2 minutes. So this is going to be really cool. I'm really excited. What have we just started?
I think the show's going to change into technology quantum quiz challenge or something.
We'll see. Listen, wow. What a show. From reclaiming our time with digital detox tips to laughing about tech shorts and rogue fridges. Tonight had it all. I hope you found it useful. Thanks for tuning into The Tech Factor. We'll be back in 2 weeks with more tech talk, laughter and stories. And don't forget, this new segment is coming back. Until then, stay